Hello everyone, welcome back to France for Foreigners, the series where I cover the latest French news for English speakers. Last week, France's current president, Emmanuel Macron, visited Moscow, Kiev, and Berlin in an effort to reconcile Russia and Ukraine to avoid an upcoming war. I'll be covering what was discussed in each of these countries. But before you watch this video, I strongly suggest you go watch my previous one, if you haven't already, where I recount the entire history behind the conflict as well as France's position on the matter. The link should show up on the top right of your screen. Now let's get straight into the story. Macron's visit to Moscow, Kiev, and Berlin. Macron's first stop was in Russia on February the 7th. His first goal was to progressively descale tensions in Eastern Europe. Macron is optimistic that war can be avoided, posting on his Instagram account that he had a rich, substantial exchange with Putin. The French president is convinced that peace can only be obtained through dialogue, not only with France, but also with Europe, the US, and NATO. Concretely, he wishes to obtain guarantees that European borders will stay safe. Vladimir Putin agreed with him, saluting his efforts to gain peace. However, he did remind him of his firm hostility to Ukraine joining NATO, citing a possible opposition between the organization and Russia if Ukraine invaded Crimea. While noting NATO's scope of influence, he nevertheless affirmed that Russia is one of the world's leading nuclear superpowers, and in the case of a conflict between Russia and NATO, there would be no winner. The next day, Macron flew to Ukraine to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The French president reminded Zelensky of France's and Germany's wishes to end the ongoing war in the Donbass region following the Normandy format. The Normandy format are talks founded in 2014 involving France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia to resolve the war in Donbass. He also cited the Minsk Protocol, signed by representatives which aimed to end the war but have not yet been carried out. He finally called for the assessment of the situation by both countries. On the other hand, Zelensky was skeptical about Russia's sincerity, demanding them to prove their willingness to cooperate with concrete actions, mentioning his distrust in the spoken word. This referred to Russia's multiple lies concerning their amassing of troops at the border and the cyber attacks they conducted. Finally, on the 9th of February, Macron joined Polish President Andrzej Duda in Berlin to meet with the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Their meeting was symbolic for two main reasons. Firstly, they showed Europe's unity by reuniting the Triangle of Weimar, three countries associated since 1991, promoting cooperation in crisis zones. Secondly, the three countries would be partly responsible should a war occur, since all three occupy important roles. Germany is the current president of G7, France of the Council of the European Union, and Poland of the OSCE, or Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. Once again, the three leaders shared their willingness to preserve peace in Europe despite their individual differences. Poland openly showed its irritation towards France's and Germany's conciliatory attitude towards Russia, especially with Germany's flat-out refusal to provide Ukraine with weapons. As mentioned in my last video, we are still unsure whether this war will or will not take place. Despite these encouraging talks, no guarantees have been put in place yet to ensure the safety of Ukraine and the EU. Olaf Scholz has been repeatedly criticized for his lack of engagement, with the hashtag #WhereIsOlafScholz currently circulating. As for Macron, what seemed like an audacious bet paid out amidst the upcoming presidential elections in April. He presented himself like a candidate able to stand up to Putin, especially considering his 2017 second-round opponent Marine Le Pen, whose campaign was funded by the Kremlin. If you want to know more about the upcoming elections, be sure to check out the video I made on the topic. That's it from me. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to never miss any of my videos. I'll be posting a vlog next week in Dubai where I show you the World Expo and especially the French Pavilion.